Other miscellaneous Taskdef components in Apache Ant. Here we are now we are considering other miscellaneous components. Here you can see some other tasks, and there are archive tasks including G unship, B unzip 2 / unxz, G zip / bship 2 / xz, cab, EAR, JAR, JLink, manifest, RPM, sign, jar, ta, anja, anta, unwa, unzip, wa, and zip. And there's audit and coverage task, JDepend, and there are compile tasks which we will consider later. This includes depend, javac, jspc, net, rexxc, rmic, wljspc, as a deployment task, server deploy, documentation task, java doc, ejb task, and execution task, and call, apply /exec on, depend set, exec, java, parallel, sql, sleep, subband, wait for. And there are file tasks, attrib, checksum, chgroup, chmod, chown, concat, copy dir, copy file, delete, del tree, filter, fix, clrf, get, mkdir, move, patch, rename extensions, replace reg expression, set permissions, sync, temp file, and touch. There are Java extension tasks, jalib available, jalib display, jalib manifest, jalib -resolve, and there are logging tasks, record. There are mail tasks, mail, my mail. There are miscellaneous tasks including default, exclude, echo, fail, gen key, host info, input, script, sound, splash, sql, taskdef, tstamp, typedef, xml, validate. And here these log tasks include record, logging task, and there are preprocess tasks, antlr, structure, import, include, java cc, java h, jjdoc, jjtree, macrodef, native to ASCII, preset def, translate, slt. There are property task: available, base name, build number, condition, dir name, echo properties, load file, load properties, make URL, path convert, property, property file, up to date, which resource, XML property. And there are remote tasks including FTP, REXEC, SCP, set proxy, SSH, exec, telnet. There are SCM tasks, CVS, CVS changelog, CVS pass, CVS Taskdef, clear case, continuous /synergy, Microsoft Visual Source Safe, PVCF, source off site. There are testing tasks, JUnit and JUnit report. And here you can see a different way of looking at some tasks. Here you can see Java and EAR and JUnit and network related and FTP, source control logs and compiler and mail. As an example, we consider archive tasks. Here you can see an example of archive task jar. Here we want to create multi-release jar file according to the specification GEP238. It defines here you can see a special MF entry according to the specification, and here directory structure according to the spec, default classes loaded by old lesser versions of Java 9. And here pre-release classes require Java 9 plus for loadable via standard class loader. Here you can see jar. It sets its jar's set of files. Here dest file attributes it the jar file to create. Here this manifest, you can see manifest attribute, the manifest file to use. This can be either location of a manifest or the name of a jar added through a file set. If it's a name of an added jar, the task expect the manifest to be in the jar at meta-inf/manifest.mf. As an example too, we can consider this example. Here now we write a simple tasks. Hello world task, and then create a text file hello world.jar in the src directory with this code. Then we can compile and jar it with and default target is jar, and via its depends attribute the compile is executed. But after creating the jar, we want to use our new task. Therefore, we need a new target use. Before we can use our new task, we have to declare it with Taskdef. And for easier process, we change the default attribute. Here the important is the class path attribute and searches in its /lib directory for task, and our task isn't there, so we have to provide the right location. Now we can type in and all must work here, and this is a sample code anyway, sample script here. You can see the output here after execution, and this is a segment of the script. Now we are considering tasks using properties, file sets, and path. So what to do? Handling three attributes: property, value, and print, and an execute method. Because this is only an introduction example, I don't do much checking. The class task base class for all tasks. Use project.createTask to create a new task instance rather than using this class directly for construction. This is in the package org.apache.tools.ant. With regarding the built environment, you can see the built file here. The other use.asterisk targets are deleted. Our first step is to set a property to a value and print the value of the property. So our scenario would be like this. Okay, it can be rewritten with core tasks. So what to do? Handling three attributes: property, value, print, and an execute method. Because this is only an introduction example, I don't do much checking. The property access is done via project instance. We get this instance via the public getProject method, which we inherit from tasks, more precisely from project component. Reading a Reading a property is done via get property name. Very simple, isn't it? This property returns the value as string or null if it is not set. Setting property is not really difficult, but there is more than one setter. You can use set property method, which will do the job as expected. But there is a golden rule in AND. Properties are immutable, and this method sets the property to the specific value. Whether it has the value before that or not. So we can use another way. Set new property. Actually, the set property method we are referring is something else, not this one. Now we are considering the set new property. Set new property set the property only if there is no property with that name. Otherwise, a message is logged. By the way, a short explanation of AND's namespaces, not to be confused with XML namespaces. And call creates a new space for property names. All properties from the caller are passed to the callee, but the callee can set their own properties without notice by the caller. There are some other setters too, but I haven't used them, so I can't say something to them, sorry. After putting our two-line example from here into the target names use.simple, we can call that from our test case. Setter for value and print. And this is same as this. And this Now we are considering Apache and EJB tasks and EJB jar in EJB tasks. Using this format, we'll create EJB jars. We'll create a EJB jar file for each variation of asterisk dash EJB dash jar dot XML that is found in the deployment descriptor directory. The task EJB jar. This task is designed to support building of EJB jar files, EJB 1.1 and 2.0. Support is currently provided for vanilla EJB jar files, that is those containing only the user-generated class files and the standard deployment descriptor. Nested elements provide support for vendor-specific deployment tools. With regarding API, the class EJB jar extend the matching task class provided in the default and distribution to provide the directory scanning EJB jar file generator. This in the package org.apache.tools and .taskdef.optional.ejb. In this example shows EJB jar being used to generate deployment jars using WebLogic EJB container. This example requires the naming standard to be used for the deployment descriptors. Using this format, we'll create a EJB jar file for each variation of asterisk dash EJB dash jar.xml that is found in the deployment descriptor directory. Now we are considering AND in execution tasks. There are different ways of using the tasks. The task AND runs Apache AND on a supplied build file. This can be used to build subprojects. This task must not be used outside of the target if it invokes the same build file it is part of. In API, class AND built a subproject. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. There are different ways of using the tasks. Now we are considering attrib in file tasks. Here make the run.bat file read-only and hidden. The task attrib changes the attributes of a file or all files inside the specified directory, specified directories. Right now it has effect only under Windows. Each of 4 possible permissions has its own attribute matching the argument for attributes commands. With regarding API, the class attrib equivalent for Win32 environments. Note, attrib parameters /s/d are not handled. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.windows. Now we are considering Jalip available in Java extension tasks. Here the search for the extension in a single file. The task jalip-available check whether an extension is present in a file set or an extension set. If the extension is present, then the property is set true. With regarding API, class jalib available tasks check whether an extension is present in a file set or an extension set. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.extension. Now we are considering record in logging tasks. The following build.xml snippet is an example of how to use recorder to record just the Java-C tasks. The task record. A recorder is a listener to the current build process that records the output to a file. With regarding API, the class recorder adds a listener to the current build process that records the output to a file. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering mail in mail tasks. Here, send an email from me to you with the subject of results of nightly build, and include the contents of the file build.log in the body of the message. The task mail, a task to send SMTP email. With regarding API, class mailer, base class for the various emailing implementation. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs.email. Now we are considering default excludes in miscellaneous tasks. Here print out the default excludes. The task default excludes alters the default excludes for all subsequent processing in the build and print out the current default exclude if desired. With regarding API, class default excludes alters the default excludes for the entire build. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering NTLR in preprocessed tasks. Here invoke NTLR on a grammar file etc/java.g, writing the generated files to build/src. The task ANTLR invokes the ANTLR translator generator on a grammar file. with regarding API, class ANTLR invokes the ANTLR translator on a grammar file. This is the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional. Now we are considering available in property tasks. Here sets the myClass.present property to the value true if the class org.whatever.myClass is found in the ant class path. Task available sets a property if a resource is available at runtime. This resource can be a file, a directory, a class in a class path, or a JVM system resource. With regarding API, the class available will set the given property if the requested resource is available at runtime. This task may also be used as a condition by the condition task. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering FTP in remote tasks. Here login to the ftp.apache.org as anonymous and upload all the files in the htdocs/manual directory to the default directory for that user. With regarding API, the task FTP. Here the task FTP. The FTP task implements the basic FTP client that can send, receive, list, delete files, and create directories. With regarding API, class FTP tasks, basic FTP client performs the following actions: send file to a remote server. This is the default action. Get, retrieve files from a remote server. Del, delete files from remote server. List, create a file listing. chmod, change Unix file permissions. rmdir, remove directories if empty from a remote server. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.net. Here the getting files from an FTP server works pretty much the same way as sending them does. The only difference is that the nested file sets use remote directory remote dir attribute as the base directory for the files on the FTP server. The dir and the dir attribute as the local directory to put the files into. The file structure from the FTP site is preserved on the local machine. Here log into ftp.apache.org as anonymous and recursively download all .html files from the default directory for that user into the htdocs/manual directory on the local machine. Now we are focusing on CVS in CSM tasks. Check out the package /module and from CVS repository pointed by the CVS root attribute, and store the files in here the $open curly brace ws.dir close curly brace. Task CVS handles package /modules retrieved from the CVS repository. With regarding API, class CVS performs operation on CVS repository original 1.20 node. This implementation has been this implementation has been moved to abstract CVS tasks with the addition of some accessors for extensibility. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Here update the package /module that has been previously checked out into ws.dir here. Here silently -q create a file called patch.txt containing a unified -u diff which includes new files added via CVS add -n and can be used as input to patch. The equivalent using command line element is here. Or here. Now we are considering JUnit in testing tasks. Here no output will be generated unless test fails. The task JUnit, this task runs test from JUnit testing frameworks. The latest version of the framework can be found at https://junit.org. This task has been tested with JUnit 3.0 up to JUnit 3.8.2. It won't work with versions prior to JUnit 3.0. It also worked with JUnit 4.x, including pure JUnit for test using only annotations and JUnit and no JUnit 4 test adapter. Class with regarding API, class JUnit task runs JUnit test. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs.optional.junit. Here they run the test defined in my.test.test case in the same VM. No output will be generated unless the test fails. With regarding we are considering JUnit. We are now considering library dependencies. Here we are considering JUnit.jar. JUnit tasks may be in class path passed to task rather than ants class path. This is needed for JUnit tasks, and this is available at https://junit.org/. Now we are considering archive tasks. gunzip, bunzip, and xz. Expand resource expand a resource packed using gzip, bzip 2 or xz. Here the expand test dot tar.gz to test.tar. Here the expand test.tar.bz2 to test.tar. Here expand test.tar.xz to test.tar. Here expand test.tar.gz to test2.tar. Here expand test.tar.gz to subdir / test.tar. Assuming subdir is a directory. Here download https // example.org /archive.tar.gz and expand it to archive.tar in the project base dir on the fly. Here the gunzip class in the API, the gunzip class gunzip expand the file that has been compressed with the gzip algorithm normally used to compress non-compressed archives such as tar files. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Here the following is identical to this section. The same is also true for bunzip2 and bzip2 resource or unxz and xz resource. Copy offers additional features like filtering files on the fly, allowing a file to be mapped to multiple destinations, preserving the last modified time or configurable file system timestamp granularity. Now we are considering audit coverage tasks. JDepend. The class path in JDepend on audit coverage tasks. Class path is defined using a reference. The tasks JDepend invokes the JDepend parser. In the API class JDepend tasks. JDepend is a tool to generate design quality metrics for each Java package. It has been initially created by Mike Clark. JDepend can be found at https://github.com/clarkfare/JDepend. The current implementation spawned a new Java VM. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs.optional.jdepend. Here invoke JDepend on the build directory, writing the output on the standard output. Uh, uh, the class path is defined using reference. Now we are considering Apache Ant server deploy in deployment tasks. This example shows the use of generic deploy element to deploy a component using a Java-based deployment tool. The task server deploy. The server deploy task is used to run a hot deployment tool for vendor specific J2EE server. The task requires nested elements which define the attributes of the vendor specific deployment tool being executed. Vendor specific deployment tools elements may enforce rules for which attributes are required depending on the tool. With regarding API, the class server deploy control hot deployment tool for J2EE servers. This class is used as a framework for the creation of vendor specific hot deployment tools. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.j2ee. Now we are considering Javadoc or Javadoc 2 in documentation tasks. The task Javadoc or Javadoc 2 generates code documentations using Javadoc tool. Duplication, the Javadoc 2 task simply points to the Javadoc task and it's there for backward compatibility reasons. Since last task will be removed, since this task will be removed in future versions, you are strongly encouraged to use Javadoc instead. With regarding API, class Javadoc generates a Javadoc documentation for a collection of source code. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. This is same as this one. Or this one. Now we are considering EJB jar in Apache and EJB task in EJB tasks. Using this format here, we'll create a EJB jar file for each variation of asterisk dash EJB dash jar.xml that is found in the deployment descriptor directory. The task EJB jar. This task is designed to support building EJB jar files, EJB 1.1 and 2.0. Support is currently provided for vanilla EJB jar files, that is those containing only the user generated class files and the standard deployment descriptor. Nested elements provide support for vendor specific deployment tools. These currently include Bolland Application Server 4.5, iPlanet Application Server 6.0, GBOS 2.1 and above, WebLogic 5.1, 6.0 session, entity beans using WebLogic.ejbc tool, IBM WebSphere 4.0, TopLink for WebLogic 2.5.1 enabled entity beans, JONS 2.4.x and 2.5 open source EJB server, Ironflare Orion Application Server 2.0. The task works as a directory scanning task and performs an action for each deployment descriptor found. As such, the includes and excludes should be set to ensure that all desired EJB descriptors are found. For each descriptor found, EJB jar will pass the deployment descriptor to determine necessary class files which implements the bean. These files are assembled along with the deployment descriptor into well-formed EJB jar file. Any support files which need to be included in the generated jar can be added with the support nested element. For each class found in the EJB jar, EJB jar will scan for any superclass or super interfaces. This will be added to the generated jar. This example shows EJB jar being used to generate deployment jars using WebLogic EJB container. This example requires the naming standard to be used for deployment descriptors. Using this format, we'll create EJB jar file for each variation of asterisk dash EJB dash jar.xml that is found in the deployment descriptor directory. With regarding API, the class EJB jar extend the matching task class provided in the default ANT distribution to provide a directory scanning EJB jar file generator. This is the package org.apache.tools.ant.taskdefs.optional.ejb. Now we are considering ANT in execution tasks. These are different ways of using the tasks. Task ant runs Apache ant on a supplied build file. This can be used to build subprojects. This task must not be used outside of a target if it invokes the same build file it is part of. The class ant built a subproject. This is in the package org.apache.tools.ant.taskdefs. Now we are considering attrib in file tasks. Here make the run.bat file read only and hidden. The task attrib changes the attributes of a file or all files inside specific directories. Right now it has effect only under Windows. Each of the 4 possible permissions has its own attribute matching arguments for attrib commands. With regarding API, class attrib equivalent for Win32 environments. Note attrib parameters /s and /d are not handled. This in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.windows. Now we are considering jalib-available in Java extension tasks. Here search for an extension in a single file. The task jalib-available check whether an extension is present in a file set or an extension set. If the extension is present, then a property is set. With regarding API, the class jalib-available tasks check whether an extension is present in a file set or an extension set. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.extension. Now we are considering a record in logging tasks. The following build.xml snippet is an example of how to use recorder to record just the Java-C tasks. The tasks record. A recorder is a listener to a current build process that records the output to a file. With regarding API, class recorder adds a listener to the current build process that records the output to a file. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering mail in mail tasks. Send an email from me to you with the subject of results of nightly build and include contents of the file build.log in the body of the message. Task mail, a task to send SMTP email. With regarding API, class mailer, base class for the various emailing implementations. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs.email. Now we are considering default excludes in miscellaneous tasks. Print out the default excludes. The task default excludes, alter the default excludes for all subsequent processing in the build and print out the current default exclude if desired. Class default exclude, with regarding API, class default excludes, alter the default excludes for the entire build. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering ANTLR in preprocess tasks. Here invoke ANTLR on grammar file etc/java.g, writing the generated output, writing the generated files to build/src. The task ANTLR invokes the ANTLR translator generator on grammar file. With regarding API, the class ANTLR invokes the ANTLR translator generator on a grammar file. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional. Now we are considering available in property tasks. here set the myClass.present property to the value true if the class org.whatever.myClass is found in the ant class path. Task available sets a property if a resource is available at runtime. This resource can be a file, a directory, a class in the class path, or a JVM system resource. With regarding API, class available will set the given property if the requested resource is available at runtime. This task may also be used as a condition by the condition task. This is the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Now we are considering FTP in remote tasks. Here log into ftp.apache.org as anonymous and upload all files in the htdocs/manual directory to the default directory for that user. The task FTP, the FTP tasks implement basic FTP client that can send, receive, list, delete file, and create directories. With regarding API, class FTP tasks, basic FTP client performs the following actions: send file to a remote server. This is the default action. Get, retrieve files from a remote server. Del, delete files from a remote server. List, create a file listing. chmod, change Unix file permissions. rmdir, remove directories if empty from a remote server. This is the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdef.optional.net. Here you can consider getting files. Getting files from FTP server works pretty much the same way as sending them does. Only difference is that the nested file sets use remote dir attribute as the base directory for the files on the FTP server. And the dir attributes as the local directory to put the files into. The file structure from the FTP site is perceived on the local machine. Here log into the ftp.apache.org as anonymous and recursively download all .html files from the default directory for that user into the htdocs/manual directory on the local machine. Now we are considering CVS in CSM tasks. Here check out the package, package /module and from the CVS repository pointed out by the CVS root. Root attributes and store the files in here ws.dir. Here the task CVS handles packages /modules retrieved from the CVS repository. With regarding API, the class CVS performs operations on a CVS repository. Original 1.2 note. This implementation has been moved to abstract CVS tasks with the addition of some accessors for extensibility. This is in the package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs. Here update the package /module that has previously been checked out into WSDIR. Here silently -q create a file called patch.txt containing unified -u diffs which includes new files added via CVS add -n and can be used as output to can be used at input to patch. The equivalent using command line element is here. Or here. Here the task, here we are considering JUnit in testing task. Here no output will be generated unless the test fails. Task JUnit, this task runs test from the JUnit testing framework. The latest version of the framework can be found at https://junit.org. This task has been tested with JUnit 3.0 up to JUnit 3.8.2. It won't work with versions prior to JUnit 3.0. It also works with JUnit 4.x, including pure JUnit 4 test using only annotations and no JUnit 4 test adapter. With regarding here and with regarding API class JUnit task runs JUnit test, and this is in package org.apache.tools.and.taskdefs.optional.junit. Here runs the test defined in my.test case in the same VM. No output will be generated unless the test fails. Now we are considering JUnit.jar in library dependencies. This is needed for JUnit task maybe on class paths passed to task rather than ants class path, and this is available at https://junit.org/. As an error example, we can consider this unable to locate tools.jar, expected to find it in C:// program files /java /jre6 /lib/tools.jar. Build file build.xml does not exist. Build failed. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.